Good morning, folks. It's Duncan at Free as an Eagle, back on the A-frame build. Wanted to just do a little quick catch-up video. I don't want to let too much time elapse without saying hi and showing you where we're at. So this is Monday morning, September 23rd, a couple days into fall. Beautiful day. We've gone about 3 or 4 weeks without any rain now, so I've had a nice opportunity to get work done. So been working on this dormer and racing the calendar to get this closed in before winter. So you see the outside of it now. I've just been up there working on plywood. I finally have all the plywood up on it now. I just tied in most of it with a framing gun to add to the screws I've been putting everything together with. One thing I love nowadays is you have a lot of powerful battery tools that allow you to drive hundreds of screws, and it's nice when you're putting the things together with the screws, because when you screw up you can screw down, you can unscrew and take things apart much more easily than you could with a nail gun. So it's only when things are in their final positions that I'll dare take out that framing gun and blast it full of nails, and then it becomes much harder to fix. So you can see I'm kind of working in little areas. That's a section below the windows, below the dormer, that need to be filled in. Everything that's required to get the roofing done is kind of the focus right now. So what I'm going to attempt to do is keep this in video mode while I walk around the building and into it, and then we're going to go upstairs and we'll look at what's been done up there and how you can see from up here the inside of it now. It's less light up in there now. We're closing it in, and it's supposed to rain in a couple of days, so my goal is to get some of we've got this tar paper. So it's not tar paper, it's a better material here, and then some ice and water shield for the lower courses, just in case of the very unlikely event of water backup up under anything, especially up on the dormer. But I have a lot of the ice and water shield, so we're using it. So now we're heading up this ladder and looking out. And then in the dormer, I'll back up a little bit. So as you can see, we go up into the high part of the main roof area, which you can see from here is pretty cool. And we go up, and this dormer actually meets with the ridge dying into the upper ridge. So it creates some neat framing up there. We bulleted that with some big lags to tie it together. And we'll look out over the opening here again, and then we'll turn full circle. So here's the dormer going out with the same roof pitch, the same basic game plan. These are 2x10 rafters. I bulleted those little gusset plates to add strength, and it's got a double 2x10 ridge, which is a significant amount of overkill, which we kind of want. And then the framing, we haven't framed in for the windows yet. That's all not related to roofing, so we're going to put that off. I'm just climbing up the small ladder to get up on the actual staging out here. And then in order to make it possible to work out here, I had to set up some staging which is tied in to the wall framing. There's 2x8s sticking out a good distance, and these give us a little platform. I angled a piece underneath there. So there's 2x8s under the plywood, then there's plywood. And you can see, I carefully back up here, it's a little bit exposed, so we don't want to come off. So there's blocking. What you end up with on this frame is rafters going out, ridge going out beyond the rafters by the amount of the overhang that I'm looking for. And then what you do is install blocking every 24 inches here so it'll catch the incoming plywood. There will be a fly rafter on the outside of these, a final rafter, but as you can see, for it to extend down full length would mean moving the staging, so I've delayed on that. But I want to get this watertight before our next round of rain, which is supposed to hit in the next few days. So I'm going to step out on this side here. You can see my little generator set up off in the woods there. So here we are on the outside, and we'll look up here, and you can see the plywood is finally to the top. I'm going to drape the tar paper over the top of the ridge to keep water out. Eventually, I think we're going to put a metal cap across the whole ridge because it's wide. I don't like a sharp pointed ridge because it's bad for the roof caps, and they wind gets up under them. And around here, it's stormy enough up here. I've seen a lot of times when ridge caps were put on over that ridge vent material, and I'm not too impressed with that system because the wind gets under those caps, tears them off, and then you got water coming in. And nowadays they've sort of gone back to the old hot roofing method. I kind of like the old days when they had the gable vents. You didn't have to put all that vent ridge and cut big holes, and they found out it's not as effective as they originally thought. You want venting, but it doesn't require the entire roof to be vented if you have gable vents and some open attic space. So I'll probably have a small amount of attic space up there to bleed off moist air that gets up there. So yeah, looks a little scary, but I have a ladder in there, and I screw down these little 2x4s to the walk plank so the ladder can't possibly slip off, and then I get up there with the framing gun and get this all nailed off. So that's kind of been today's project, just to get this plywood in and nailed off. The valleys are going to take a little more work. As you can see, plywooding those valleys can get a little messy. I did not do a perfect job there, but what I'm going to do is mill special pieces that will slip up underneath and tie into the valley rafters to catch the edges of plywood, because in a valley you've only got plywood landing on, trying to share an angled edge of a valley rafter. It doesn't offer a lot of support, so I'm big on ripping pieces that will slide up under there with the correct angles to make contact. Then I'll butter those with some adhesive, shove them up under there, and put some screws in those, and then the valleys will be well supported. And then the other trick with valleys is to run some metal in them, and you can run copper and leave it exposed. I think on this roof we're actually going to run, once this is all nailed down and tied in, we'll run some aluminum down the valleys, and then we'll follow that with a band of ice and water shield down the whole length of the valleys. And then when the roofing is done, it'll be woven kind of back and forth between the two sides. Or what we typically do is run the roofing in one direction. For example, say it comes off the main roof and goes across the valley and then laps onto the dormer roof. And then what you then do is nail it there, but not nailing in the valleys. And then when you do the gable, the dormer roof, that will come down and similarly kind of overlap the valley a little bit. But what you do is snap a line on the roofing right down the valley line and then cut that so it makes a nice clean line, and you're well protected because you have roofing running up onto the dormer side and then down over that into the center of the valley, and then you cut it back. So it looks clean and it works quite well. I haven't had any trouble with that. So anyway, that's a quick catch up on this. What I'm going to do this morning, before I go visit our guests for some biscuits and gravy, I just ran up here early to get a little work done. When they call me, I'll run down and have a nice bite to eat. Between then and now, I think I'm going to lay some tar paper on this and work my way up. At some point, I've got to disassemble a staging and just finish that last little run of plywood. But for now, what I've done is actually deliberately cut it in the middle, and the water will run off until we get around to doing the destaging and adding in a little plywood. So I can kind of watertight this now by just covering it, and that will bring us to a place where we can resist rain, and we're one good step closer to being able to shingle. So that's the main objective now, just get this all tied in and be able to get the roofing going, and that will be another big step. So anyway, hope you have a good day. Enjoy this beautiful fall weather, and I will get back to work. Take it easy.